My name is Brenda Jenkins. Scott was my husband, and I'd like to share with you some of the thoughts that I have had since Scott's passing. His name has already been said, is Meade Scott Jenkins. He was born in June 18, 1948, which is also about time it's Father's Day, so he rocked. He got a present for Father's Day, he got a present for a birthday, but he passed away on August 26, 2025. He was a husband, a father, a brother, an uncle, and a cousin, and a friend. Scott's parents' name was Henry Halsey Jenkins and Jacqueline Powers Jenkins. His sister Lori Holmes was born 6 years later. Scott was born in Norfolk, Virginia, and enjoyed going crabbing with his father and his sister. Scott joined the Air Force when he was 18 years old. He was enlisted for 6 years. He was an airman first class, and he worked on F-15s among other things. This caused him to be partially deaf. He served during the Vietnam War, and he was grazed by a bullet, but only grazed, thank God. He enjoyed racing his motorcycles when he was on base. Scott went from a tool and die maker to a mechanical engineer. He was a self-taught man, and he was incredibly smart. He worked at AAI for many years, followed by Ortho America, until his first stroke in 2018. He built motion-based rides and installed one in the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas before it opened. Scott could make anything out of wood or metal. He made Ronnie a wooden rocking horse. He made a beautiful cradle for Richard. He built bunk beds and a treehouse for both boys, and it lasted over 20 years until Hurricane Milton caused a massive tree to fall on it. Scott made me a bookcase and a beautiful chest of drawers. Scott was an avid sportsman. He loved all kinds of fishing and even tied his own flies. He was also a very good marksman and entered many shooting competitions. His favorite matches were the 3-gun matches, which was a pistol, rifle, and shotgun. He was a member of the Eustis Gun Club for many years and a member of the NRA. He was also a member of the Lake County International Defensive Pistol Association and International Practical Shooting Confederation. Scott had a goal when he moved to Florida to fish in every lake in Lake County. He didn't know how many lakes that was, though, and he did not meet his goal. I introduced Scott to Cheeto-Roo Karate. I outranked him, which is kind of funny, but he attained black belt when I had to quit training in order to have my children. And he took great pleasure in outranking me. He was black belt, I was brown belt, 1 belt less than him. I was blessed to be married to Scott just shy of 34 years. We met at Shoot Straight Gun Range, and I worked there, and Scott would come in to shoot. He always had a smile for me, and the rest is history. We got married at the gun range on September 14, 1991. Our firstborn son was born July 20th, 1994. We named him Ronald Scott Jenkins. Our second son, Richard Halsey Jenkins, was born on February 28, 1997. Scott had a rough and tough exterior. Ricky, can you help me?
Yeah.
You need to read this.
Scott had a rough and tough exterior, but on the inside he was loving, patient, and kind. The first time he spanked our son, he went into the bedroom and cried. I also remember he said, "It hurts me more than it hurts you." As a child being spanked, I highly disagreed with him. Scott was so unselfish. When Granny Betty Burton was declining, Scott allowed, it's weird reading from your perspective, but as it's written, he let me move in with her to take care of her. He never complained about it and called me his angel. He also let me spend so many hours at church and volunteering. Scott and I strove to have a date night once a week to catch up on each other's life. On July 30th of this year, 2025, I took Scott to the ER. He was severely dehydrated and had acute kidney injury that turned into total renal failure. On August the 1st, I was laid off from my job. What the devil meant for harm, God turned into a blessing. I was able to stay at the hospital 24 hours a day with Scott for 23 days. If I had been working, I couldn't have done that. God definitely turned that time into a blessing. Scott came home from the hospital on August 21st. He had dialysis on the 22nd and the 25th. He hated it. It was so cold in there. He felt better on August 25th, so we were going to go out for a date night. But he got weak, and I told him to rest, and we can do date night another time. It was not to be. He died in the emergency room on August 26th. I miss him so much. I see reminders of him everywhere I look. I have a big void in my heart. I was blessed to be Scott's wife for 33 and a half, 11/12 of the years. So round up, let's call it 34. I look forward to seeing him again when God calls me home.